Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit these gloves. Part 1. Let's get started. Hello guys, let's try to knit these gloves this time. 5 fingers gloves. A lot of people don't even want to try to knit this 5 fingers gloves because it looks very complicated. I'm not gonna say it's simple, but the technique I use are very simple. Knit, purl, make one left and right, SSK, knit two together, then Kitchener, cast off. Pretty much it. But you have to make plan ahead. That's the key for success. So let's watch video first. Before I started knitting, I made sample with the yarn and needle I am going to use. 2mm needle, which I never used before, I just bought them. 80 stitches total. I made some rib and all knit for few rows. This way I can make sure how many stitch I need for my wrist, also fingers. I pinched like that, sample like that, and then count the stitch I need, right? And I wrap it around my fingers and count, just like that. And make sure every single finger fits it. 17 stitch, you have to write it down because you need this number for later on. You have to calculate, the how many stitch you have to increase, kind of thing. Okay? And again, please watch my video before you start because there are 2 ways to increase the stitches. You can actually make the enough cast at the very beginning, or you can increase some stitch after the Thumb Gusset. Either way, okay? So, cast on, multiple of 2. I made 50. Okay, because when I, check with the sample, 50 stitches enough. I decided to increase some stitch after the Thumb Gusset. So I made 50 cast. Has to be multiple of 2. Now I made 50 cast. Then I'm gonna knit around, which means I'm gonna connect both ends by using magic loop technique. If you don't know the technique for magic loop, slip slip knit, or knit two together, please check my description box. I'm gonna put some links so you can go check. Anyway, for the magic loop technique, you split in half, just like that. And please make sure all the stitches are not twisted and face to the right side. Okay, and there's 2 needle, one with the working yarn and one without. Okay, and one with the working yarn, pull the needle, then knit the other side of the stitch. So let's start rib row, repeat of knit 1 and purl 1 until your desired length. From the second row, you just have to knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. I made about the 2.5 inch for rib. It's really up to you. If you really like the longer rib, you can just keep knitting. Okay, so I finished my rib about 2.5 inches. Okay, and then now I want you to knit around for few rows until your carpal bone. I didn't know how it called around that area of the hand, and I Google it and it says carpal bone. Anyway, until at the very bottom of the thumb, not the finger part, at the very bottom, just the wrist part. Okay, and you just knit around and around. Then after that, you will increase the some stitches, which is the thumb gusset. So before that, you need to knit few rows until there. Okay, wrist that much. I knitted it more than few rows. Now you will slowly increase stitches to make the thumb gusset. Okay, so let's start. That's the begin. I'm gonna use the begin marker. Okay, this is setup row number 1. Okay, right after the begin marker, knit 1. This is setup row, and make one left. Make one left, which is with the left needle, pick up the running thread from front. I'm using right needle, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna hook on to the left needle because it's easier to pick up the running thread that way for me. Anyway, you pick up the running thread with the left needle. There you go. And use back of that running thread loop. Then knit. Looks like a little bit like a purl Y. It's really hard for me to, put the needle at the back, so I kind of slide it from front to back and knit there. That's make one left. After make one left, knit 1. This is still setup row. Okay, knit 1, then make 1 right. Now you have to pick up the running thread from the back with left needle. If it's tough to do it, you can use the right needle to help it, and you just have to knit it. Again, depend on the yarn. Sometimes it's really hard to knit because it's so thin and tight. So take your time. Okay, then knit 1. This is it. Then place the marker. And rest of the stitch you have to knit until end. And setup row 2 and 3 is just all knit. Okay? Okay, let me talk about the setup row number 1 again. The first marker is begin marker. Then I made knit 1. Then make 1 left using the running thread. Then make knit 1. After knit 1, I make 1 right. Then knit 1. then second marker. After the second marker, you just do the all knit until the end. And again, set up row number 2 and 3 is all knit. And I meet you after the setup row number 3. It's gonna be the thumb gusset row number 1. There we go. This is the end of the setup row number 3. And thumb gusset row number 1. It's pretty much same, but because of the I increase the stitches, so it's the wording is different. Okay, knit 1. Then right after knit 1, make 1 left. Then after make 1 left, knit until last 1 stitch before the second marker. Okay, I'm doing the make 1 left right now. Okay, after make 1 left, I'm going to tell you one more time. Knit until last 1 stitch before the second marker. Okay, just knitting. Then make 1 right. You still have 1 stitch left before the second marker, then you make 1 right. Okay, it's really hard to pick up the stitch, but take your time. Then knit 1 there, and this is the make 1 right. Then after the make 1 right, you make knit 1. Then slide the marker. And after the second marker, you just knit all around until the end. Then thumb gusset row number 2 and 3 is all knit, and you just have to repeat row 1 to row 3 until your kind of space in between thumb and digital. Okay, I just finished. I make the rib and few stitches all knit. Then I start the thumb gusset. Slowly increase stitches, right and left, until the space in between the thumb and digital finger right there. And sometimes people get confused why I'm using make 1 left technique on the right side and make 1 right on the left side. Now I want you to look at the thumb. Okay, this side, the thumb shifting left side, and the other side, thumb shifting right side. And you open it, there you go, right and left. But the thumb shift left on the right side and thumb shift right side on the left side. This is why I use make 1 left on the right side and make 1 right on left side. I guess just follow my instruction. It would be great. Okay, so this is enough for the thumb gusset. And now I'm gonna finish this row, which means knit until the begin marker. And by the way, this is row number 3. You have to finish on row number 3. Then transfer all the thumb stitches onto thread, not stitch holder. because if you're using the hard stitch holder, it's gonna be awkward to knit 4 fingers. So using the thread is the best. After you transfer all the thumb stitches, just leave it as is. I'm gonna come back and knit the thumb later after the 4 fingers. And now the other side of the stitches, you have to divide by 4 fingers. And let's talk about increasing now. After the thumb gusset, we have to do a little bit of math. And this is the most complicated part in entire video. I'm going to explain slowly, so please listen carefully and understand before you start. First of all, you need to count whole stitch except thumb gusset. My number was 47, and you need to remember this number. Do you remember we talked about stitches for fingers at the very beginning with the sample I made? And I decided that I need 17 stitches for each fingers. And this 17 stitch includes new cast. So 17 stitches. 17 stitches for each finger. I call it X for you. Okay? So let's do a little bit of math. Number 1, digital finger. X minus 1. Mine, 17 minus 1 equal 16. Number 2 and 3, middle and ring finger. Same. X minus 3. 17 minus 3 equal 14. Those 2 fingers are same. Now, pinky finger. This is up to you. X minus 2 or 3. I choose minus 3 because my pinky is so small. So 17 minus 3 equal 14. And those 4 numbers, I have to add it up. 16 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14 equal 58. I need 58 stitch total for 4 fingers. But I have only 47 stitches right now, which means 58 minus 47 equal 11 stitches. I need to increase 11 stitches evenly in next few rows. Probably some people now think why you didn't start with 61 stitches to begin with. I could, but I didn't. Why? Because if I start with 61 stitches, it's gonna be kind of loose wrist rib, which I don't want to. I would like to have nice and, little tight, the rib. So this is the why I decided to start with cast 50. And if you don't get this math, please leave a comment. I will help you. Let's increase some stitches. 47 divided by 11, which I need to increase, is 4.2. So I'm going to knit 4, then add 1 stitch by close yarn over. Make sure it's not regular yarn over, it's closed yarn over, okay? Because you don't want to make a hole. If you do the regular yarn over, it's gonna be hole, right? So you gotta be very careful about this. And one thing I have to tell you, I should increase stitches in few rows, but I increased 11 stitches in one row. It worked, but I should have maybe cut in half and increase little by little. And this is the second row. I mean, right after the closed yarn over. I just want to show you what it's really like. Okay, I don't really want you to make the hole because of the yarn over increasing. Okay, so when you look at the closed yarn over, there we go, right there. You just knit there and there's no hole after. There you go. Okay, so if you use the just a regular yarn over technique, there's gotta be hole. So you gotta be very, very careful about that. And you have to knit around and around until the bottom of the four fingers. Okay, you probably add few more rows. Now pretty much it. I increased 11 stitches evenly, now 58 stitch in total. And I add few rows on it, just the bottom of the four fingers. Now I want to divide by four fingers, but before you do that, you have to split in half and transfer those stitch onto the thread again. I am not going to use hard stitch holder. Okay, transfer all the stitch onto the thread. Then I have to actually divide by four fingers. There you go. Can you see the orange marker in between my fingers? I actually already divided. Quick example. Digital. I need 16. Okay, so the front and back, you count 8 stitches each, makes it 16. Okay, then I put the orange marker to divide it. So the number you figured it out by math, that's the number you need. And again, some people still think, okay, this is not 17 you were talking about earlier. Fine, because I will add new cast when I knit, each finger. Okay? This is why I did the little math, like, okay, -3, this is -1, stuff like that. Okay, so it's not 17 yet, but it will be 17. Example. Each finger, you have to reconnect front and back. Then you have to add 1 stitch to connect. Stuff like that. And I would like to talk about it in next video. Okay? So today, this is it. And part 2 video will talk about the how to knit the fingers. Okay? Enjoy!